Hello again everybody, and welcome back to the Cold War Warrior campaign in the Su-25. And this is mission 1, so let's get straight into the mission briefing and get her into the air. You've already seen the campaign overview, you've already seen the situation. Go back and check out video number 1 if you want to see what all this stuff on the map means and see where we're at in the campaign. But the objective is that High Command has tasked a strike package against elements of the West German 35th Panzer Brigade northeast of Ust-Labinsk. The package departs the rendezvous point at 10:20, time on target is 10:29, and the target itself is strike tanks of the West German 351 Panzer Battalion in road column formation. I'm assuming that's 1st Battalion of the 35th Panzer Brigade. So we can see on the overview, I'm going to be taking off from the coast at, Sochi Adler. Rendezvous at steer point 2, and that's going to be at 10:20. IP, I'm going to hit that at 10:28. Strike 1029, and there we can see the 35th right there, part of the 12th Panzer Division, right there to the north and to the east of Ust-Labinsk. So there's the town itself, IP, and they're going to be along a road. I've already done all the detailed planning on this, so yeah, let me just skip ahead and I'll show you what my plan is once we get into the mission editor. Now, the package elements. I have a 4-ship of Su-25, that's Grach 1, it's a separate flight. Grach 2 is a 2-ship, I'm Grach 3, or is it Grach 3? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that, I don't know how you actually pronounce it. And that's me, 2x Sukhoi 25s. I have Hunter 1 and Hunter 2, they're a fighter sweep of MiG-23s, 8 total. And I have Bear 1, a SEED, a suppression of enemy air defenses flight, 4 MiG-27s. And the threats. I'm going to have a Hawk SAM site, multiple Hawk SAM sites. These are low altitude to medium altitude, medium range, surface-to-air missile systems. I'm going to be staying low on this mission, so I don't think the Hawk is going to be that much of a threat to me. And I'm also going to try to stay as far away from them as I can get. I have just miscellaneous other rocket artillery, APCs, tanks, artillery, and the other threats to me, and these are really my primary threats. I have Roland SAMs. These are self-propelled surface-to-air missiles, low altitude, low range, but if I get close to one of these, they have a high chance of taking me out. So I'm going to be dispensing flare when I'm in the area, especially and chaff to spoof these, and as well as the self-propelled AAA, the Gepards. Air threats are going to be 6 total expected F-4Es. And since this is the first mission in the campaign, I'm not expecting this to be too difficult. Usually these start off a little bit slow and then they get harder as they progress, so I would expect maybe in later missions for maybe some more frontline fighters, F-15s, F-16s, or what have you to show up, but for now it's just 6 F-4s up against my 8 total MiG-23 fighter sweeps, so we shouldn't have any kind of an air threat problem on this mission. I wouldn't think, but just in case, I am prepared with air-to-air missiles. Okay, weather, light to moderate winds. I'll be able to assess this better once I get into the cockpit. And of course, takeoff time 10 o'clock. So let me go to the mission planner real quick and we'll have a look at my loadout and have a closer look at the target area. And in the mission planner, there's a lot of information presented to us in the target area here. What I always do is, if the mission designer leaves it in there for me, I assume that's as intended, and that this is just intel on the target location, stuff that I would expect to normally have, because I have friendly forces down here, I have all kinds of reconnaissance on this area. If I start to feel later into the campaign that I'm getting too much information, detailed information like I'm getting here, I might just skip this part and just take the overall mission briefing as presented on the first part, and not go into detail here, because I can see that I have a group of enemy martyrs, infantry fighting vehicles out here, and then I have right here along the road my primary target. It's a combination of Leopard tanks. I have some Gepard self-propelled AAA intermixed with them, and also some M113 APCs. So I know exactly where they're going to be. They're along this road, just as briefed, in just a column formation coming down to Ust-Labinsk, and the IP is right here, so I'm just going to ingress along this route. I'll be able to easily identify the route because I have water out here to my left, so I just fly along this route to the IP. It's the only town in the area, so it should be very easily identifiable. And then from there, I fly to the northeast and pick these targets up along the road, which also should be very identifiable. There's a road and there's also a rail line running along that area. So I'm going to try to make this one pass and see what damage that I can do and then reassess the situation. I don't want to make multiple passes, and that's actually advice from the campaign and mission designer on this, is that you don't want to stick around in the target area, and I'm going to take the man at his word and try to make this as one pass and out of the area as possible. But then again, I also want to do some serious damage to these guys so that I can progress in the campaign. So I'll have to assess that as I go. I have a loadout developed that is going to be geared towards anti-armor. I just don't know exactly how effective I can expect these Soviet weapons to be against the armor. It might take one pass, it might take two, I don't know, so we'll have to assess that as we go. Now I can see that I have some Japar AAA up here to the north, and I have a Roland air defense site and also Hawks up here to the northeast. So what I want to do is ingress along that rail line and along that road, and then egress to the southeast. So I'll be off the target to the right. I want to avoid at all costs going north and going east off the target. If I need to reattack, I always have the option of coming in from the opposite direction. I just need to pick up the road, not too far up the road, and then roll in. I want to attack these so that I'm attacking in line so that I can maximize the effectiveness. If I'm going in with guns, then I have a whole lot in line, and I don't need to just pick one off at a time. I can get some firepower in all of them. And I'm going to try to vary my avenue of approach as much as possible, but that's the plan. Now let me show you my loadout. And the loadout that I've picked and put together for this anti-tank, I've got S-25 KOs in rocket pods on my wings. Those, from what I've read, are high explosive anti-tank rockets, so that should help me out. I'm not sure how effective they'll be. I have KH-25s on my wing as well. I don't expect to use these, but if I have to stand off due to threat in the area, then I might consider using these. I really don't want to, though. And I have the KMGU-2 with the PTAB 2.5 KO bomblets in there. So it's a dispenser, so I'm going to overfly using this as my primary weapon. I have 2 pods, so that's going to mean I'll have 2 passes with this. That's how I'm going to play it, at least, is one pass, reassess, and then if I have to go in with the other pod, I will. And if I have other targets of opportunity, I'll save one in reserve for them. If not, I'll roll back in. So I'm hoping these are very, very effective. We'll see how it goes. I'm really not sure. I have 800-liter fuel tanks under my wings as well. What I found is that after I finished that initial look at the aircraft that you saw in video number 1, I flew around for a while and I ran out of fuel quick. And on this mission, it's about a 1 hour minimum out and back. At a low level, high speed. The mission briefing and the timing is set up for me to be going anywhere from 600 to 700 kilometers per hour, which in the Su-25, that's going to be close to max throttle with this payload. So I have extra fuel. If I find out that this is just overkill, I might, in later missions, mix it up and just be flexible with this. I'm trying not to overload the aircraft. I am very close to the max gross weight, so I'm tempted just to remove these missiles and go with the dispensers and the rockets, but I'll make this work, and I'll set up number 2 with the same loadout, and we'll be flexible from there and see how this works out for us. So that's all the planning I'm going to do. I've actually spent probably about 2 hours just going over it and researching other stuff to try to get the loadout right and just to make sense of this. But okay, let's go ahead and get into the cockpit and get this thing started. Okay, and we'll pick things up on the ground. I'm against the clock here. It starts at 10. I need to be taking off right at 10:05 unless I really think I can make some time up on the ingress, which I don't think that I can. So let me go ahead and go right shift L to get power on the aircraft. And I've already got the AWACS calling in contacts. 344 for 270 at 5,000 flanking. Okay, and I've got on my RWR. See, that would be the AWACS aircraft out there to my right and behind me. Yeah, I can see the contrails. Okay, let me go ahead and get number 2 up and running. So clear fore and aft on 2, right control home. Let me get the canopy, left control C. Okay, RPMs are coming up, and let me turn down the volume on the RWR. I know that's I don't mind it being up, but I know that annoys a lot of people whenever there's just a constant beeping. I need it there, so I'm going to at least have it partially audible. Okay, good RPM still coming up. Temperature's coming up. And clear for startup. 327 at 2 meters per second. Got it. And okay, good start on 2. Let me go left alt, home. That'll get number 1 up and running. And there we go. Fuel tank, dispenser, missile, rocket pods, and R-60 infrared guided missile. A lot of stuff on the wing. I don't know. I'm having second thoughts on this. It's just too much weight on the aircraft. I don't know. We'll see how she handles and see how she takes off. I might adjust that at some later date. But RPM's coming up on 1. Okay, temperature stabilizing. RPMs are coming back down. Okay, start cycle looks like it's complete. Okay, normal caution warning indications. The greens are just advisory. I need to translate those at some point. But okay, everything is looking just fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and request taxi. Get on out to the runway. They got something taxiing off there. Right now, that's another member of this flight package. That's not my wingman. He has the wrong loadout. Okay, clear taxi runway 24. Runway 24 is going to be my left to right, so I just need to follow that. So Sukhoi on out. Okay, so let's do this. Let's, okay, am I missing anything here? I am not. Let's go ahead and get this started. But it's kind of nice being able just to hit a couple of keys and fire it up. Refreshing sometimes. Okay, so quick check of the brakes. Okay, good enough. And let's go ahead and take her on out. Get going out to the left. Okay, and I'll just come around and try not to flip it over. Well, that was kind of aggressive on my part. Picked up a little bit too much speed there. Okay, so yeah, just gonna taxi on out. No taxi striping out here. So I know this is the correct taxi lane because whenever you have the dash stripe out there, that's like a wingtip clearance line. So you don't want to park anything or put any equipment inside of that line, so that everything taxiing by is going to have adequate wingtip clearance. Okay, 346 for 210 at 4,000 flanking. So distances, boy, getting used to kilometers. Okay, so that's 118 to the rendezvous, 94 to the location of the strike. So that's out there over the NATO area. Probably those F4s. But yeah, for now, no threat at all. Okay, so what all do we have out here? Those were MiG-25s taxiing by right now. Got some more Sukhoi 25s. This must be the strike package, or one of them right there with the loadout. Okay, you're just a static aircraft with no loadout. And are you my wingman? No, you are not. Wrong loadout. Okay, my wingman, I haven't heard him call, or usually they call in taxiing after I do. He might be over there and parked in one of those hazes. Okay, so RWR still just got that one spike, and I'm not going to expect to get anything else until I get a lot closer to the target area than I am right now. So I'll tell you what, let me skip ahead here. I'll pick things back up when I'm ready to taxi at the end of the run, or ready to take off at the end of the runway. I need to do that here in the next 30 seconds or so, or I'm really going to get behind. And I suppose as I taxi, I'm approaching the end of the runway now. I could start to get my navigation situated, so let me press keyboard 1. Okay, so I've got my airfield selected as my current steer point. Let me step over to steer point 2, which is the rendezvous location. Okay, got another Su-25 taking off. And it is 125 off to my left. Okay, so I'm set up on the right steer point at least. Okay, so let me go ahead and go ATC Sochi, get a little bit closer to the runway before I call for the clearance here. You got another Sukhoi coming up right now. Are you my wingman? No, you are not. I'll call for clearance anyway and cut this guy off. Okay, and 001 for 270, 039 for 190. Okay, this guy is taking off Are there two runways here? That's odd. I thought it was at the runway right now. Okay, let me hold here just a second. I've got to check this out. Ah, yes, of course. Yeah, there are two runways. I'll keep it coming for runway 24. Okay, and approaching the end of the actual departure runway, runway 24. That is my wingman right out there in front of me with the identical loadout to me. So let me call for request takeoff. Yeah, unable to clear for takeoff. Okay, now I'm clear for takeoff. I think 2 might have called for clearance before me. And in DCS, you have to be out here on the runway, or at least very, very close to the runway before you do that, or else you won't get a response. Okay, so let me hold the brakes here. Okay, navigation. Okay, good caution and warning. Good engine instruments. Okay, let me go flaps down. I should have done that before I entered the runway. Okay, flaps, indicator, intermediate position, and I should get full down here in just a second. Okay, flaps full down. Okay, holding brakes. Let me run it on up. Okay, let's go ahead and release brakes. Throttles max. Got an extremely heavy aircraft right here, so I'm going to rotate it about 220, expecting to get off the ground, maybe 240. It might actually be a little bit more than that. Okay, 150, 175. Just track it down the runway. 200. Okay, 220. Rotate. Yeah, it's going to take a little bit. Okay, that's 2... Wow, that didn't even unstick until I got up to about 250. Gear up. I'll give it a little bit. Okay, let's go flaps up. Let me pull the throttle in so I don't overspeed those flaps. Give them time to come up. And there we go. We are airborne. 2 should be getting airborne right behind me. And we are on our way. So, folks, I'm going to put a break in the video right here. Come back next time and get out there into the target area, do a little bit of navigation. My plan for this campaign is to probably put out one video every maybe 3 or 4 days. It's going to be flown over the course of the next couple of months. Believe it or not, I only fly like maybe 1 day out of a week, usually just on a Saturday morning like this. And yeah, I'll probably fly maybe 1 mission per week of this campaign and put them out every few days. So I hope you are enjoying them. So I'll see you next time.